Oh, welcome in, guys. We're here for the second episode of our draft special follow up here at the end of the 2024 season. This is, of course, our defensive draft special. As always, it's your boy, Darwin's Raven, aka D Rave, aka Levi, whatever you want to call me. Um, and as we're getting closer and closer to this divisional round game against Houston on Saturday, uh, we're going to start focusing in more on the game after this. But we are really excited, just to review how our rookies did across the NFL this season. Some guys, like we talked about in the offensive draft special, you'll hear a few names we talk about today as well. Some guys we didn't bring up in the draft special just because, like it says right there, these are supposed to be day 2, day 3 guys. Um, J- Campbell, the linebacker that went to Detroit, is going to be one of the big exceptions, and Juju Brents on this special, first and second round picks. But we're not going to cover Campbell very much, and we'll try to shoot through Juju quickly. But for all those coming in, man, tell me what's one of these rookies that maybe I didn't mention today, especially on the defensive side of ball. Make sure you leave me a comment. But let's get to it here. All right, so we're gonna be starting with the defensive tackles. Right off the rip, and sorry I didn't have I forgot to do backgrounds and everything here. We're just gonna top 10 off the top, rookie interior defensive lineman. Just like yesterday's video, guys that are 4th round picks or later, you'll see that blue highlight by their names. Of course, Jalen Carter, a lot of people regarded him as one of the best rookies this year. Actually finished 6th overall PFF rankings for defensive linemen. That's not among rookies. All those far grades to the right. So we're going to shoot down those top 7 real quick. Jalen Carter, Kobe Turner, Keanu Benton, who fell to the Steelers in the 2nd round. Carl Brooks helping lead part of that Packers defensive effort on the draft. Dante Stills, who of course we covered in our draft. Colby Wooden, another guy from our draft special, 4th round pick by the Packers. So Packers nailing 2 really good young defensive linemen in Carl Brooks and Colby Wooden in their 4th and 6th round picks. And then, of course, Zach Pickens, the 3rd round pick for the Bears. And as you can see right there, all 7 of those guys finished between 6th and 84th overall for all qualified in defensive linemen. Now, again, all of those are with like a percentage of snaps or minimum snap requirements. So, there might be some names, like case in point, we have at the bottom here, the honorable mentions. These people did not meet snap requirements. The 7th round pick, Moro Ojomo, again, another one of guys here on our draft special, the 7th round pick by the Eagles, actually ranked 4th on this list above Carl Brooks, the 6th round pick from the Packers, who ranks 42nd overall on the defensive line rankings, as well as Keandre Coburn, the 6th round pick from the Titans, also ranked ahead of Brooks on this list. So if the list included them, Carl Brooks, the 6th round pick of the Packers, would actually be down they're around 6. Also, Gervon Dexter Sr., Kalisha Cansey, and Mozzie Smith rounding out the top 10 of that. But let's go to the guys that we featured on our draft special, of course. One of those guys being Devontae Stills, selected in the 6th round by the Arizona Cardinals, 213th overall, 71st overall defensive lineman on the list. 4 sacks, but more of a run defender. Basically, only trailed Jalen Carter and Kobe Turner in run grade for rookies. Was an absolute steal in the 6th round. Again, just kind of hammering home, man. I might have had some really good picks here in this draft. We talked about a little bit earlier. Zach Pickens, the 3rd round pick by the Chicago Bears, 64th overall pick. Only 1 sack on the season, but we think he'll develop a little more next year. We honestly, 3rd round pick might have been a little too high for him, but we'll see how it pans out. Of course, Gervon Dexter Sr. selected in the 2nd round by the Bears as well, 53rd pick. 4 sacks on the season, had the 10.5 PRP. That's the 3rd best among the rookies. PRP doing a stat that kind of combos pressures, sacks, and hurries and hits all into one metric. Definitely needs to get better in his run stop. But he always showed that little bit of that potential for pass rush on the interior side. And second round pick might have been a little too high for him there as well, but he played pretty well this past year. One of our guys, Jalen Redmond, undrafted, originally signed with Carolina, had some problems in camp, actually had an injury, ended up settling, doing an injury settlement with the Panthers, current free agent, not on any rosters. Our boy Gerard Clark, the nose tackle at CCU, went undrafted as well, signed to the Los Angeles Chargers. He was waived, and then he is currently on their practice squad. And another guy we mentioned earlier, Keandre Coburn, selected in the 6th round, 194th pick by the Denver Broncos. If you remove the minimum snap count, he was the number 4 rookie run stopper and pass rusher out of all rookie defensive linemen. 64.2 run grade and 61.5 pass grade. So again, looks like might be a pretty good pick for the Broncos in the future. And then our last guy, Moro Ojomo, the Texan that ended up in Philly. Again, if you take away the snap grade count, a minimum snap count, he is actually the number 1 rookie run stopper, according to PF, a 70.8 PFF grade, but only played about 29 snaps. To put that in perspective a little bit, Jalen Carter and Kobe Turner had 172 and 231 snaps collectively. Now, edge is where we saw a lot of the high picks kind of pay off. Of course, Will Anderson leading that list, Tui Pelotu of the Chargers, BJ Ojolari, the 2nd-round pick that went to the Cardinals. As you can see right there, guys, a lot of 2nd and 3rd-round picks. 2 of the guys, though, actually, I'm sorry, not 2, but like 3 of the guys here on that list are going to show up on my list as well. All taken, I believe, 3rd round, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, all 3 guys that on my list were taken 3rd round. So, honorable mentions, though, again, that didn't meet the snap requirements. Nick Herberg, the 4th round pick by the Steelers, and Isaiah Land, the Florida A&M. He was a last-minute scratch from my draft special because I didn't want to have so many edge rushers. Undrafted, went to the Colts. He's right behind Thule, technically, on this list if you take away the snap requirements. So pretty good, honestly. Would be the 3rd best edge rusher, but again, not a lot of snaps. Honestly, the 1st round pick on Lucas Van Ness, while he was the 76th overall edge player, they might have been able to find some good production from maybe these 3rd round picks and use that 1st round pick elsewhere. But so fun thing, Colby Wooden, we had him listed as an edge rusher. We saw him listed on the interior defensive line. So he moved, of course, to more of an interior role behind Kenny Clark on that Packers line. 4th round pick, 116th overall, 78th overall defensive lineman. So again, man, like from 3rd to 6th round, seemed like I was hitting some real gems. Byron Young, of course, ended over with the Los Angeles Rams, one of those 3rd round picks, 77th overall. Starting will linebacker, 72nd overall edge player, had basically 7.5, 8 sacks on the season. He played a lot of snaps, didn't play outstanding, but by volume, he got it done, kind of. Zach Harrison, I believe, had the longest arms out of any edge rusher at the Combine, if I'm not mistaken, taken in the 3rd round by the Atlanta Falcons. Was a little high, in my opinion. I liked him as a 4th rounder. But, I mean, it seems like it paid out decently. He was listed originally as Calais Campbell's backup, so we're looking for him to have a much larger role next year. 76 overall edge, 3 sacks, and also a really good run defender. Came in on PFS ranks 41st overall edge run defender. Not just among rookies, that's overall. So sets the edge using those long arms while also getting a decent pass rush. Like I said, Zach might be a real threat next year for the Atlanta Falcons. Diaby, sorry if I mispronounce it. 3rd round pick by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, 3rd round pick might have been high for me, but it seems like it paid off. Was the backup will linebacker, 76 overall edge, got a little more playing time in the end. And again, just like Zach Harrison, 7.5 sacks, 39th overall edge run defender. So again, setting the edge out there, 6'3", 263 guy. But he's quick. Like, so again, man, it's these third round picks. Isaiah Foskey selected in the second round, 40th overall pick by the Saints. Listed and played mostly backup. Really didn't get many meaningful snaps. Honestly, second round pick, no way. Foskey for me was no higher than a fourth. But maybe he'll make me eat my words next year. And then, of course, Jose Ramirez. Dude looked like a bulldog out there playing drills. Might not really have that speed and quickness, but I really liked his strength. Selected in the 6th round by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 196th pick, was waived and then re-signed to the practice squad. So maybe he'll be able to get some starts next year. But, they got Yaya playing on one side, playing outstanding. Got one of the best middle linebackers in football. It'd be tough. Linebackers, of course, was rated as one of the weaker positions in this entire draft. And it kind of shows here in the post. So the top 3 rookie, there was only 3 linebackers that met the minimum snap requirements for like normal grades. That's Avon Pace Jr., the undrafted rookie free agent from the Vikings, who, a lot of people had him up there for defensive player of the year or defensive rookie of the year. Jack Campbell, the first round pick by the Lions, going 19th overall. And then Henry Tu'o, the 5th round pick from the Texans. Didn't really play outstanding, but he played a lot of snaps, if I'm not mistaken. But so, of course, if we take away the minimum snap requirement, as you can see with the honorable mentions here, a lot of these guys, it finished actually above Henry Tu'o. And Henry Tu'o was ranked the 82nd overall linebacker. Now, again, there's 32 NFL teams. If they consider 2 linebackers on every team, essentially, that's 64 linebackers, meaning if you're not in the top 64, usually in most of these rankings, you're not truly quite starting. You might be with like injuries and stuff like that, but you want to see like 70s usually, is a good rank, especially for a rookie. Of course, Avon Pace Jr. finished 16th overall for linebackers, not just among rookies. Jack Campbell finished 76th. So, Jack had a great year stopping the run, but, he's a bigger guy. Doesn't have that quickness as some of these other guys. Guys like Noah Sewell, the 5th round pick that went to Chicago, actually would finish out number 1 on this list if they had the snaps and kept their grade. Otis Reese, the 4th, the undrafted rookie free agent from the Titans, also would finish. Again, almost everyone on this list finishes ahead of Jack Campbell, the linebacker of the Lions, if they met the snap requirements. Trenton Simpson, Mohamed Diabate, and Dion Henley, and then, of course, Owen Popo. So a lot of potential good picks there, 5th round and later for linebackers in this year's draft. But let's go to our guys that we covered. So Dion Henley, of course, was one of our first guys, selected in the 3rd round by the Los Angeles Chargers, 85th overall pick. Solid tackler. Finished the season with an 83.1 tackle grade. That's number 1 among all rookie linebackers. Overall rank among the rookie linebackers, 6 out of 17. And that's taking away, again, the minimum snap requirement. So not terrible. We predicted him to basically just be a heat-seeking missile and run around the field, and it seems like that's exactly what he became. Henry Tu'o, one of those leaders of the Alabama Tide defense. 5th round pick, 167th overall. His run defense is his strength. That's what we expected. And of course, he needs to work on his pass coverage. Owen Popo, one of those incredibly fast guys, might even, like borderline safety, you could argue potentially. Selected in the 5th round by the Arizona Cardinals, 168th pick, listed as the 3rd string will linebacker. Of course, because of his smaller size, struggled in run defense, ranked 9 out of 17 among rookie linebackers. Of course, Jack Campbell went 1st overall. One guy that we were really looking forward to and we didn't get to see. And again, supposedly Jacksonville was really excited about this guy. If I got any Jaguar fans, let me know. Ventrell Miller, selected in the 4th round by the Jacksonville Jaguars, 121st pick, was placed on IR with an Achilles injury, I think, early on in camp. This guy was supposed to be a pass coverage nightmare, basically. Just kind of like Dayon Henley a little bit. Heat seeker all over the field with good instincts. We were sad to see that injury. And I believe our last guy, D. Winner, selected in the 6th round by the 49ers, 216th pick, listed as the backup will linebacker behind Dre Greenlaw, coming in dead last, 17th out of 17th rookie linebackers, only had 61 snaps. We told San Francisco people when he was drafted, he's going to need a year to develop a body for the NFL. And I still believe that. I ain't giving up on you, D. Corners had another good year, though, in the NFL, by the way. So we mentioned just a minute ago that if you can finish in the top 64 of overall rankings, essentially, because there's 32 NFL teams and usually 2 per team, essentially, that basically means you've got a real starting corner, in my opinion. Out of all the rookie corners that started this year, we'll go to 70th because we talked 70th earlier. 7 guys finished in the top 70 overall corners, not just among rookies. Of course, leading the way, Devon Witherspoon of the Seahawks finished as the 6th best overall corner. Brian Branch, the safety that ended up playing, a little bit of everything for the Lions, 19th overall. Mekhi Blackman, the 3rd round pick, 102nd overall pick for the Vikings. Terrell Smith, the 5th round pick for the Bears, played outstanding. The Bucks had an undrafted rookie free agent, Christian Izien, finished 50th overall. And then rounding out those last 2 spots, Joey Porter Jr., the 1st round pick by the Steelers, and then Juju Brents, one of our guys we featured because, man, he was just going everywhere. But some honorable mentions, honestly, Eric Garrer and Clark Phillips III, the 4th round pick by the Falcons and the undrafted rookie free agent by the Titans, played really well. And then honorable mentions, didn't meet the snap requirements. Christian Gonzalez, the 1st round pick of the Patriots. If snap requirements were removed, he would have finished actually 2nd behind Devon Witherspoon. And then Antonio Johnson, the 5th round pick, 160th overall by the Jags, would have finished number 3, actually. So had some really good young corner play in the NFL this year. But let's get to our guys. We mentioned it earlier. Juju Brents, selected in the 2nd round by the Colts, 44 overall pick, was starting right cornerback for them. Finished the year 70th overall. If I'm not mistaken, he played a good bit of snaps, like 400 plus snaps, which we're going to get to that. So our cornerback room did not fare as well as our other rooms. All our other rooms, draft rooms, we did pretty decent. Our cornerback room is not looking good right now. Jacorian Bennett, selected in the 4th round by the Las Vegas Raiders, 104th overall, was listed as the backup left corner, got to see a lot more playing time because of injuries. He finished dead last among qualifying rookie corners, 23rd out of 23rd. And if you actually look at the entire NFL with at least 20% of their snaps, there's 135 corners on that list, not just rookies. He finished 131st out of 135th. Come on, Jacorian. Counting on you, my guy. DJ Turner, another one of those guys, selected in the 2nd round by the Bengals, 60th pick. I, again, didn't like him as a 2nd round pick, but I kind of understood it. It's not the end of the world for him. Listed as the backup, saw a ton of snaps, I think because there was an injury, so I think he ended up starting 18th out of 23 among qualified rookie corners, 118th out of 135 among all corners with at least 20% snaps, but hear me out. Give this man one retrieval. Out of 5, he is only one rookie, he's one of 5 rookies that had over 800 snaps in pass coverage this season. The dude was playing so much in his first year. Give him a breather. Let him work. Corey Trice, we were really sad to see, selected in the 7th round by the Pittsburgh Steelers, 241st pick. He was placed on IR with an ACL injury. He was having a big OTA, guys. The Steelers were really excited about him from what I heard, but he never got to see the field, so we're looking for him next year. Rez John Wright went undrafted, was signed by Carolina, waived in August, signed to the Raiders practice squad, and then waived from the Raiders, and now was signed to the Saints and officially signed in a future reserve player contract with the Saints. So Rez John bounced around a little bit, but we're thinking maybe the Saints might be a way better fit. Carolina, I thought was going to be a good fit, but they were just a very disorganized organization this year. Safeties, we actually fared pretty decently. So, looking of course among all the rookie safeties, Jordan Battle leading the way, the 3rd-round pick by the Bengals, 95th overall pick. Actually finished first among rookies, 9th overall safety in the league this year. Jair Brown, the 3rd-round pick by the 49ers, finishing as the 13th overall safety. But after that, man, there's some great depth. Ronnie Hickman Jr., the undrafted man from the Browns. Chamari Connor, the 4th-round pick of the Chiefs. Jordan Howden, the 5th-round pick of the Saints. DeMarco Hellum, 7th-round pick of the Falcons, and Anthony Johnson Jr., the 7th-round pick of the Packers, rounding out those top rookie safeties. But again, top 64, these young safeties had a pretty good year. DeMarco Hollins, 57th overall, so 1 through 7 finished in the top 57 of overall safeties. That's not a bad deal, honestly. Honorable mention, Jamie Robinson, the 5th-round pick of the Panthers, 145th overall. He technically finished ahead of Sidney Brown, so would have been the 8th corner on that list, but didn't meet the snap requirement. Of course, Sidney Brown had that pick 6. But let's go into the guys that we had picked out. Of course, Jamie Robinson was one of those guys, the 5th-round pick by the Carolina Panthers. Only played about 41 pass snaps. And again, Jamie was going to be one of those guys playing down in the box. He showed that, but he's got to get better on the backside as a safety. Jason Taylor III, of course, related to the Jason Taylor, selected in the 7th round by the Los Angeles Rams, 234th pick. 1 point was placed on IR. I don't know if he finished the season on IR. I believe only played 9 snaps. J.L. Skinner, the 6th-round pick by the Denver Broncos, 83rd pick, was listed originally as the 3rd-string free safety behind Justin Simmons. I think he got burnt a few times in training camp. He's got to learn with his big 6'4" size how to, really run with these fast guys in the NFL. But eventually finished the season as the 2nd-string strong safety, but no real snaps. And it definitely went by some of my safeties. Hold on. That's pretty funny. Case in point, we featured Jerry is. I don't know why it skipped past 2 of my safeties. Pardon here. So of course we featured Jordan. Oh my God. Jordan Battle, the 3rd-round pick, 95th overall. One of the better box defenders in the NFL. That's 82.5 PFF run D, 76.4 coverage grade. Basically having a better coverage grade this year than Jair Alexander, while having probably one of the best run grades in all the safeties. Again, first among rookies, 9th overall safety in the NFL. Sidney Brown, of course, the Brown ended up 3rd-round pick by the Philadelphia Eagles. 2nd-string guy behind Reed Blankenship. Finished as the 67th overall safety, stepping into more starting role with some injuries to Reed. 64.9 PFF coverage grade. Not terrible, just kind of an overall safety. And of course, everyone remembers that pick 6 at the end of the season. But yeah, guys, honestly, between my defensive room and my offensive room, I could have had a pretty good draft. Obviously there were way too many 3rd rounders, so we would have had to have done something about that. But there was obviously, like we showed among the top 10 rookies, some really good players other than those. And of course, it's not as if these draft specials are an all in all the only players, that caught our eye. There's all these players, but we're coming up even right now, probably on like 30 minutes, and we're trying to keep this a little shorter. So usually about 5 to 6 players in every position group is about the max we can get in there. But let me know also, guys, not only if I missed anybody, but who are y'all looking at in these next draft? We're getting ready to start that coverage, right? Or I should say, not the coverage, but the research. So if I'm not mistaken, there are 12 eligible quarterbacks in this draft, 54 eligible running backs, 83 eligible wide receivers, 34 eligible tight ends, 120 eligible offensive linemen, 106 eligible defensive linemen, 83 edge players, 76 linebackers, 117 defensive backs. While also we got the combine coming up from February 27th to March 4th. Pro days somewhere around the 15th of March. Oh, fun fact, the Big 12 is having the first ever conference pro day where like they're inviting all the players from the Big 12. So that's going to be interesting. Senior Bowl's coming up February 3rd. Of course, the draft will be April 25th. And free agency tampering period starts at March 11th, with free agency opening on the 13th of March at 4 p.m. And then league meetings going on later in that month, the 24th and the 27th of March. So we've got a lot on the plate, guys, here for the next few weeks. But I hope y'all tune back in. Come check me out. Of course, we'll be live on Saturday for Ravens versus Texans. Maybe we'll do another divisional game as well. But I appreciate y'all for coming to hang out with me. We're going to go get some lunch. As always, D-Rave out.